So today we're going to be making a herbal glycerite. Now a glycerite is where a herb has been usually steeped in vegetable glycerin, and that vegetable glycerin extracts the herbal constituents, similar to a tincture where the alcohol is extracting the herbal constituents, but we're using vegetable glycerin instead. Using vegetable glycerin means that people who can't have alcohol either because they're children or for whatever reason they're allergic or they do not want to use alcohol, it's another way of being able to get a high proportion of herbal constituents into a herbal medicine. So herbal glycerites can be used in different ways. Because they're a lot weaker than tinctures, they are used often for children. You can use a normal adult dose of a glycerite, whereas you wouldn't be able to with a tincture. They're also used as preservatives in herbal creams. They're also used as bases for cough syrups. Because of the vegetable glycerin content that allows the herbal constituent to come into contact with the back of the throat for longer, which is a bonus for glycerites. There are two main ways that you can make a herbal glycerite. The first one is by just steeping a herb in vegetable glycerin. In the same way that you would make an infused oil, you can make a herbal glycerite. So here is a calendula glycerite. That is, as you can see in the jar, it is just calendula flower, and that's a food grade vegetable glycerin that it's sitting in. You need to make sure that the herb is fully covered at the top to prevent mould. And this would be left for 2 to 3 weeks, and then you can strain out the plant material and bottle your vegetable glycerin that's then left, which is then your glycerite. Now that's an effective way of being able to extract the herbal constituents, but unfortunately what often happens is it's difficult to be able to strain it. You don't get very much of that vegetable glycerin out of that plant material. Even if you put it through a press, you're not going to get the same amount out that you put in. There's quite a big loss. So what you can do is either use a combination of the next method or just use this next method, which is a double extraction. Now with this, what we're going to do is make a decoction of calendula flower, and that decoction is then mixed with vegetable glycerin, and that forms part of the extraction. It is then mixed with the infused glycerin extraction, which we just talked about. Now what this does is the water is acting as the extracting agent for the calendula flower, and once the water has the decoction has been formed and the water has extracted the herbal constituents from the calendula flower, you have a decoction or a very strong herbal tea, and those constituents in the water are a herbal medicine in themselves, but unfortunately due to bacteria, that decoction is not going to last very long without any kind of preservative. So what we do is then add vegetable glycerin to that mixture to prevent any kind of fungal growth. So it's really easy to make a herbal glycerite using the double extraction method. In the saucepan I have 200 grams of calendula flower, and I'm going to add 800 ml of just normal water. So just add that in. And this just needs to be brought to the boil, and once it's brought to the boil, reduce to a simmer and then to be gently simmered for 15 minutes. Once that's decocted, it can then be, we'll pop it through the sieve and we'll be able to see the decoction. So now the decoction is cooled, and the last part that we're going to be doing is adding in the vegetable glycerin. And to preserve it, really what you need is over half of the volume needs to be vegetable glycerin. So we have 400 ml that's decocted. So I'm just going to pour in now vegetable glycerin. As you can see, the mixture is at the moment separated, and that will happen with glycerites when you've added in a decoction. So give that a good mix together. It's always a good idea to shake a glycerite before it's dispensed, because this separation can occur again. There we go. And once that's bottled, I can then shake it again to make sure that it's fully mixed. So there we are. That is a calendula glycerite that we have just made. We could just leave that now, and that will last for about a year in a cool, dark place and in a sterilized bottle. If we wanted to increase the potency, what we could do, instead of just adding in the plain vegetable glycerin, what we could do is add in our infused glycerite as the glycerin. So we could have done that, but in this case I wanted one of a lower strength, and so that's what I've used for this one.